Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, it seems like the Russians and their African brothers are fighting together the imperialistic pigs. Who are those guys? Those guys are the guys in charge of the United States of America and the Western world, trying to stretch their tentacles all over this globe. So we have two articles here, coming both of them from the Ukrainians, telling us that African mercenaries are eager to fight for Russia against the other guys, which are Europeans. Let me read you this first article coming from the New Voice of Ukraine from May 28, 2024. Russia boosts recruitment of foreign mercenaries for war against Ukraine. All right, well, don't you do the same thing? Destruction and war, my friends. Destruction. Russia has significantly intensified the recruitment of foreign mercenaries for the war against Ukraine, targeting manpower in Central Africa, including Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, and Uganda. The Mali Intelligence Directorate, the Mali, I was like, with set up with African countries. The main intelligence directorate of Ukraine, AGUR, reported on Telegram 28. A specially created unit of the Russian Ministry of Defense is responsible for recruiting mercenaries. The Russians lure foreigners with a starting payment of $2,000 for signing a contract, a monthly allowance of $2,200, health insurance, and a Russian passport for the quote-unquote soldier and his family. Wow, so that's the first one. The second one, Ukrinform, and I have here two brothers, actually three brothers, with some AK-47s. Let me show you this picture. Right there. Well, war, my friends, war. Russia intensifies recruitment of Africans for war against Ukraine. Intelligence. Well, what's going on? According to Ukrainian intelligence, the recruitment of Africans for the participation in meat assault on Ukrainian territory is carried out by a special unit of the Russian defense unit. And I have the same information with how much they are paid. Mercenaries. I have nothing against mercenaries, just so you know. They do a job as a truck driver, as an engineer, as a crooked politician and all that. They make a buck. Is it dirty what they do? Well, if they fight for a country's independence or defending a country's resources, their traditions, their culture, you know, that's a noble thing. So I don't know. It depends. Sometimes mercenaries are bad. Sometimes mercenaries are good. Why? Because they help, you know, the civilian population have a decent life. Now, what do we have here? Africans being recruited. Yeah, okay. All right. I'm pretty sure remember the Nepalese were recruited. Indians were recruited. The same thing on the other side. So it's something like, I've been talking with some Romanians. I am for the right to own a gun, carry a gun in plain view or concealed without the government's interference. That's me. Obviously, you have to control this somehow because you got criminals who should not own guns. So I'm obviously for some, you see that, some regulation in keeping the criminals, once they were convicted, keeping them from certain kind of criminals having guns. So in my conversations with some of Romanian counterparts, I told them I'm for Romanians carrying guns and having guns. And I have to confess that I received a very big opposition. I would say not with strong arguments, but with heart-feeling arguments that no, the Romanians should not And the main argument that was provided to me over and over was, can you imagine, and I say, yeah, I can imagine, can you imagine how many killings, how the Romanians will kill one another if they were allowed to have guns? And obviously my counter argument would be, well, that way Romanians will get rid of bad Romanians, right? So they will, how do you call it, take care of themselves. So people who are mercenaries and they go in war, they take care of themselves. They don't want to be blown up, they want to be shot and so on. War is garbage, but sometimes it's necessary to defend yourself, and to straighten some things up. Obviously, self-defense is debatable in certain circumstances, because if I create a problem, a situation, and you attack me based on my situation that I created, I can't claim self-defense because actually I attacked you, I was starving you. One example, a clear example, is the Second World War, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor on the 7th of December 1941, if I remember correctly. I do not justify that. I'm just giving you a reason why the Japanese, according to them and not only, attacked the United States of America, which was not the United States of America. It was, a territory at that time. Pearl Harbor, the Hawaiis were not grabbed as a state. But hey, the Russians are imperialistic, okay? If you want to know how the Americans took Hawaii, just read a little bit and see how the Banana Republic interests worked on that with Mr. Dawes, that's how you call him? Anyway, look into that. So it was not like a willy-nilly, yeah, I want to be part of America. But the Russians are imperialistic, which they were. So, my friends, remember, mercenaries will be always available as long as war will be available. And when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, they claimed that they had to do this because the American told them that they cannot get their natural resources from Indochina and Far East. That basically, I tell you, you cannot buy groceries for your family from the town's grocery stores. What will you do? You have two options. One, you either move, but Japan could not move, or what? Punch me in the face, or have your children starve. And Japan said, no, we're going to attack these guys, taking the risk in doing what they did in Tsushima Strait, if you remember, to the Russian fleet in 1904, remember? And they said, well, this is great, we did it by surprise, and the Russians did not recover, and they lost that little encounter with Japan. They thought the same thing was going to happen with the United States of America, but no. Anyway, so the same, sometimes, how do you call it, self-defense, because we claimed, the Americans, we claimed that we acted in self-defense. Obviously, we were attacked by the Japanese, but they don't mention what happened before that. So I think you're going to punch me in the face and try to go and buy to that grocery store if I prevent you from doing that. And then I will say, self-defense. No, that's not self-defense. All right, my friends, mercenaries and the Russians, they've been trying since the beginning of this special military operation, the Russians, to use as, how should I put it, as little as they could the Russian army. They tried to use the guys in Donbass. Oh, you're going to liberate yourselves, you're going to fight for your liberation. They tried to use mercenaries, they tried to use these private military companies, mercenaries, however you want to call them, in order to minimize the problems that the dead bodies brought back into the big cities in Russia will create to the public opinion with idiots who say, see. Well, propaganda is there on all sides, my friends. The problem is, you see, at least Goebbels, that bad dude with the propaganda, called his ministry the Ministry of Propaganda. Clear. But these guys are not having the Ministry of Propaganda. They have, some other euphemistic terms, which means these are fucked up weasels. The other ones are bad, but at least they told you their intention. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. These guys say, we're going to do this, when they actually want to do this. So who's good? We are. Why? Because we say so. So, Mercenaries. Well, let them go. The same with the French. French will send their legionnaires over there. Legionnaires, the foreign legion, are they mercenaries or are they what? What are they? Well, again, let's don't tangle in semantics and euphemisms and all that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.